Okay, what's good, yo? Okay, so today we're we're talking about another traumatizing subject because I just can't stop traumatizing myself. Okay, today we're talking about shit. I don't even remember the title. I just know it is the Junko Furuta manga. Okay, but it is a manga based off of that case, and I'm gonna give you a quick rundown of the case just so everybody is on the same page here. Okay, let me look this up real quick. Okay, here we go. Right, Junko Furuta was an 18-year-old, 17-year-old rather, my bad, who was abducted. Okay, one day while she was riding her bike from home from school. Okay. By about four boys, Hiroshi Miyano, Jogra, Shinji Minato, Yasushi Watanabe. Those are like the four boys who are the main perpetrators in this story. Okay, so we go from there. Okay, she's abducted, taken, and then the boys gang rape her in a warehouse, then take her to their house and just like torture the shit out of her for a while, and like invite people over to do the same. And like a lot of people knew about it, they just didn't say anything because apparently they were like tied to the yakuza. All right, and they didn't get heavy sentences like at all for this. Okay, I'm leaving the details for the actual manga review. Okay. I'm not losing feeling. I can't. Okay, I got it. Shin Gundai Ryukiden. That's the name of it. I don't know why I fucking read it in like a JoJo voice, but yeah. That is the title of it. Shin Gendai Ryukiden. No, bro. Anyway. Yeah. So, this book is about that. About that case. People think it's insensitive, and they're just bombing it with one. They're just bombing it with 1-star reviews. Personally, like, I don't think it's insensitive, right? I think it is a good story to tell as like a cautionary tale. Like I said, again with Metamorphosis, some people will say it's insensitive, but really it's not. Unfortunately, these are some people's reality. So I feel like it is a good thing to tell their story, so that way other people don't end up in the same situation. But that's just my opinion, okay? So yeah, basically, as I said, in the manga, this girl, her name is not Junko. It's something different. Okay. Okay. Technically, again, it is a doujinshi, so technically, it is a hentai manga. However, personally, none of these fucked up stories turn me on, like at all. Good, all right? Because if you do get aroused by this, you're weird, honestly. Like, you need to go on a list. Like, seriously, you're fucking weird, bro. Okay? But yeah, technically, these stories are meant to be erotic novels. However, I do not find any erotic pleasure in it at all. Okay? Because it's just extremely fucked. Okay? But just reading reviews here, other people seem to come to the same conclusion as me that, while it is a bit of a touchy subject, it's kind of like worth telling. Other people will disagree with me. Okay, let me know in the comments, do you think it's insensitive or do you think it is a good story to tell? Personally, I think it is a good story to tell. I think all stories are good stories to tell. Of course, to the appropriate demographic. Alright, so, yeah. So, this girl, right, is kicked off her bike, abducted. Okay. Like I said, raped in a warehouse. Taken back to, shit. I don't remember which one of the boys' house it was, but she was taken back to one of their houses. Okay. From that point on, it is constant sexual abuse, constant physical abuse, constant mental abuse. Okay, she just pleads to leave. She says she won't call the cops. She just pleads to leave, and her captors obviously are not gonna let her go. Okay. But she still maintained hope throughout most of it. Okay. So yeah, like I said, for 44 days, it was non-stop, you know, sexual and physical abuse. She was beaten many times, you know, raped by an estimated 100+ people. Okay. Unfortunately. Okay. This is a really sad story. Like, honestly, right now, just talking about it, I feel sick. Alright? It's not funny at all. In the slightest. Okay, I'm not even gonna try to make a joke out of it because it is not funny. Okay. So, there are many, many, many instances of just absolute cruelty to this poor girl. Okay, and this was all started because she rejected one of the 4 boys. Anyway, yeah. So, let's get into detail here, yeah? Like I said, spoiler warning. Okay? And don't if you're just squeamish or you just feel sick easily or you just don't want to hear about it, don't. Okay? Don't continue. So, as I said, okay, when she was there, they were inviting people over to rape and abuse her. Okay? There is a notable instance where a little girl was invited over and she kind of doodled on Junko's face with a pen. So I don't know. All right. So from here on, it is absolute hell and torture for 44 days. Okay. Alright. Yeah, like I said, it was just gang rape over and over and over again. Poor girl. Okay. They forced her to, do erotic dances for them, rather. Okay. they forced her to pleasure herself in front of her. Okay. Smoked 2 cigarettes at once. They inserted all kinds of things, inside her. I'm not gonna specify on that because you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Like, this is the worst case for sure. And if you want all the agonizing detail, there's a Wikipedia about it, though I'm not going to show them here. I'm not going to, do all that. Not because I don't want to, and not because I'm lazy, but because, I got a family to feed, bro. I gotta fucking make money. Nah, just kidding. I'm just kidding. I don't get monetized anyway. It's just because I feel like it's for not only your mental health, but my own as well. Alright? So, she is able to escape, actually, after being, non-stop tortured, left out on the balcony in the cold. Okay, she is able to escape. To a phone, rings it. 911, what's your emergency? And then one of the boys comes up behind her, hangs it up, and for attempting to call the police, she's just violently beaten and raped, as you would imagine. Okay, and then she's able to actually escape, like, through the front door at one point, and they take her back. So, here's where it gets really bad. Okay, one day, they decided it's a great idea. I think it was on New Year's Day or something like that. They decided it's an amazing idea to, light her on fire a little bit. Okay. And, okay. and they insert fireworks inside her and then light them. And then she was, she's been violently beaten and raped this entire time. So she's kind of disfigured. So they don't really find any sexual pleasure in her anymore. So basically, they just like sexually torture her. Not like they were already doing that. They were already doing that. Just this time, they weren't doing it. They were, using foreign objects to do it. Okay. So they drop weights on her, just violently beat her. At this point, she's begging for death. I would assume. I don't know. I couldn't tell you what she was thinking. Okay. Then the next day, they play mahjong, which is shit. It's kind of like checkers, I guess. I don't know. But somehow Junko wins. Okay, and he decides to, beat her for it. He drips hot wax on her. Okay. Forced her to drink her own urine. They actually forced her to drink cockroaches as well. Then at this point, you know, she starts convulsing, you know. And at this point, her, like, nasal cavity is so flooded with blood she can barely breathe. Okay, so then they put a bag over her head, start beating her. Then they get an exercise ball, like I said, and I guess a medicine ball, and like drop it on her over and over again. Then they start lighting her on fire, as I said, and then Junko dies that night. Okay, so, you know, these slimy bastards, alright, this wasn't the first time they did something like this. They never abducted anybody, but they were, you know, their sexual escapades and their sexual crimes ran a long way before this. Okay, so they get caught. They get caught for one of these rapes that occurred beforehand. Okay, and and because Joe Ogra decided to, I don't know, they just got very confused. That's how, yeah, that's how fucking evil these people are. They've done it so many times they don't even remember what situation was which. Let that sink in. Anyway, okay. Joe Ogura thought that one of the other boys, Minato, had already confessed to Junko's case, but that was not what they were in for at all. Okay? And like I said, okay, this one's bad. Really, really bad. So the way they hid the body was in a concrete barrel. Yeah. In a concrete barrel. That's how they found her. Unfortunately, I'm gonna show a picture of this. There is a movie about it. It's called Concrete. And I watched it. It was literally just a reenactment of it. Okay. Like I said, it's been sensationalized a bit because it is such a gruesome case and because it's so sickening. Okay. Here we go. Here's some panels from the manga. That's not what I'm looking for, though. Here we go. That's what I'm looking for. There we go. Okay, I found it. So, here we go. That is how they found her. A tuft of hair sprouting out from the concrete barrel. I don't know what to say. No matter, unless you're like Hitler, nobody deserves a death like this, especially not someone with such a bright future as her, okay? Because she did have a bright future. She was a good student, she had a job, okay? And she was guaranteed a job after graduation, like a good job, too. Okay, so this is a very, very sad thing. It's sad nonetheless. It doesn't matter if she had a bright future or not. I mean, it does. It adds to the sadness factor. Okay, but at the same time, it doesn't, because this is sickening. It's sick in every facet of the word. Every sense of the word, this is a sick thing to do. No fucking shit, right? So yeah, because these dumb fucks didn't know which situation the cop was talking about, they ended up confessing to the Junko Furuta thing. Okay. They found Junko Furuta, and they were charged with 3 years. Joe Ogura was charged with 5 to 10. Minato was charged with 5 to 9. Watanabe was charged for with 5 to 7 years. Miyano was charged to 20, which is still low. Okay. And the Japanese media was furious. At first, they were, covering their faces because technically they are juveniles. Okay. But somebody exposed their identities. Okay. Good on you. But yeah, Watanabe was originally sentenced with 3 to 4 years. That is why? There's people fucking in the 1970s. There were people getting charged with more for fucking having a butt on them, having some like weed on them. This guy, does all this fucking insane, crazy, sick shit, and he gets 3 to 4 years. Okay, but the Japanese penal system is more about reform than punishment. However, I believe there are cases where the death penalty is justified. Here it's absolutely justified. It was premeditated. Okay, they had an idea of this. Okay, this was not the first offense, technically. Okay. And the fact that they did this at all, regardless if she died or not, the fact that any of this happened, I believe, is cause for a life sentence. But that's just me. Alright, moral of the story. Alright, dudes out there, okay, moral of the story, if she says no, it means fucking no. Alright? Alright. So, yeah. The Junko Furuta case is insane. I read the manga about it. It's basically just a reenactment. But there are a lot of sex scenes, and it's really, really weird because technically it is an euro manga. Technically, it is an erotic novel. However, if you get off to that, please kill yourself. Alright. So, with that, be safe. Okay? Don't do drugs. Use a condom. Wear your seatbelt. Right? And make good decisions. Okay? You really shouldn't do drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? Okay. So, yeah. Average outro, you know? Don't do drugs. Use a condom. Wear your seatbelt. Make good decisions. And yeah, that's it. And educate yourself. Okay? If you're interested in this case, go do some research or watch some YouTube about it, because I highly recommend some people do watch this. Okay. Some people do read it, do like watch documentary about it, watch the reenactment movie. It's called Concrete. Look it up. You can just find it online. Okay. Is the site a little sketchy? Sure. But that's the best we got. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So yeah. That's gonna be it. Okay? Please take care of yourself, guys. Okay? Okay. Go enjoy your summer, but be smart about it, yeah? Yeah. Okay. See you later. Goodbye.